Who was Barcelona's most important player this season? You think you know, yeah? But wait till you see who I put on number 3. I've watched every game, every minute, every substitution, every moment, so I feel confident that I'm the right guy to make this list. In this video, you'll find out who quietly carried Barcelona when no one noticed, why some fans' favorites aren't even in the top 5, and of course, who I crown as the MVP of this season. Because if this is the foundation, guys, Barca's next era might just be building on players you were not even watching closely. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. And yes, today we're going to be ranking every single player, and the way that we're going to do this is that right now on screen we're going to be seeing that I have every single player that has played minutes for Barcelona this season. And we have on the left, well, the rankings over there. So I'm going to go over every single player and I'm going to be trying to put them up in this order. We're going to be discussing this with you guys. Let me know in the comment box down below. I'm going to be reading what you have to say. And let's start off right away with players who for me are in the rest category. Players who I won't even need to mention that much because they didn't really have a tremendous impact. With this, I'm going to go unfortunately with Andreas Christensen. He didn't play that many minutes, you know. He didn't play that many minutes. He's unfortunately a player who I wish played more. I think he would have been very important to Flick, and I think he will be maybe next season. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Next up, Pau Victor. I think he didn't play that much either. Ansu Fati actually is not here. I even forgot to put Ansu Fati. Oh no, yeah, he's here. Ansu Fati, I put it in the rest category as well. Paulo Torre, I think, should be there. Marc Bernal, even though he had a tremendous start to the year as well, didn't play that much. I think this is Astralaga, didn't play much either. Sergio Dominguez, put him in the rest category. Hector Fort, I would put him there as well. Didn't contribute much either. Iñaki Peña, maybe I would put him there. Who knows? I actually do think that Iñaki Peña does deserve what I would call an honorable mention. I think that Iñaki Peña does deserve honorable mention because there are some instances in some games where Ter Stegen got injured and we didn't sign yet Chesney, where he was the main man, right? He was very important, I think, in the first two El Clásicos. In the first El Clásico, I think he was very important. He did tremendous save. And I think that single-handedly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that that's the best goalkeeper performance from any goalkeeper of Barcelona this year. Like this season, that Iñaki Peña performance against Real Madrid was superb. So I really, really did enjoy that. Iñaki Peña, honorable mention. He did save us some instances. Marc Casado is a player when I was thinking about this video, you know, thinking about which of these players I'm going to put in. I certainly thought Marc Casado is one of those players that has to go in honorable mentions. I think Marc Casado is a tremendous player at the start of the year. He did really good to, you know, take the position from Marc Bernal after he got injured, got that ACL. And he's been tremendously good when Frank de Jong either wasn't playing good. And he has, yeah, I think he's a player who now fans really do enjoy playing with. Or watch playing with. Fans don't play with the player. But you know what I mean. That love watching him. He's a very hardworking player. He does many things throughout the year where I really do see Marc Casado being an honorable mention. The reason why maybe he's not higher up on this list is because he lost minutes to Frank de Jong. Yeah, lost minutes to Frank de Jong in the second part of the year. I think that's very simple to just say he lost that many minutes, and I think that hurt him quite a bit, but he's very important. Like I said, even in that El Clásico with the pass to Lewandowski, that was very important for Marc Casado. So yeah, I think he goes there. Other players, let me think. Ter Stegen is another player that actually I'm gonna slide in there in the rest section. I think that he had a bad end to the season. He had a weak start as well, so maybe I put him there. I'm looking at the players that we have remaining here, and Gavi, as much as it pains me to say, I think Gavi as well would be in the rest category. But I'm not ranking the rest, so in the rest, don't take it in order. I'm gonna be ranking the other ones, particularly who I think deserves better shouts. Honorable mentions, I won't rank either, but Gavi I think also hasn't played really that much this season, so I'm gonna keep him there. I'm gonna keep him in the rest category because I don't really see him being having a tremendous impact this year. You know, it's incredible that someone like Gerard Martin is gonna be rated higher up than Gavi. Who else? Let's start working our way up from number 2, number 5. You know, the best players per se, because I think that's easier to see where we're sort of at, right? So Pedri, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Pedri, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, I think they're key. Like, they're top 3, 100%. Next up, maybe I would discuss... actually, Araujo, I'm going to put him in the rest as well. I don't think he had a tremendously good season. You know, people are going to kill him because of what he did against... who even did we lost to? Against Inter in the Champions League. I completely deleted that game from my mind. So I'm going to put him there. One that I think about as well that we should start working up our way up this list is Dani Olmo. I think Dani Olmo is an honorable mention. Maybe he could go higher up. Maybe he could go into the 10, 6 to 10. Dani Olmo, I just think that when we look at him, he's a player that we paid a lot of money for, and he hasn't really had the best, most influential season. He's been good and has won some games by his own. I do remember the game he came on against Rayo Vallecano. That's a tremendous game for him. There are other instances where he's had good games as well and has helped Barcelona quite a lot throughout the year. Even the second half against Inter in the semifinals was very good from Dani Olmo. And things like that, few moments, few sparks, do let Dani Olmo for me shine enough that he deserves an honorable mention. He might not be a world beater. He might not have had the best season that we anticipated. But like I said, he does deserve honorable mention. He passed the test, if you ask me. He had a good enough first season where I think he does deserve a second one. That's the best way I can describe that. Thinking of other players that maybe do deserve honorable mentions but are not quite the best, I think maybe Fermin might drop in there. I think that Fermin had a really good season as well. I think him and Dani Olmo are very similar. I do not know if one of them had a better season than the other. I wouldn't really jump to conclusions just yet and say that that's the case, but Fermin certainly does deserve a good position in this list, in this ranking. I'm thinking 9 to 10, 1. How many players we have right now at the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. We have to get rid of 3 players and build up from here. So 3 players that are not entering in the top 10, but do deserve honorable mentions. You know what? I think Gerard Martin deserves honorable mention. I do not know whether I put him higher up, but I think that in instances when Alejandro Belé has been injured, he has been very important. Important in the sense that he was the only player that could play that position. He was the only player that could play that position, and he played it good enough. But, I mean, he did play a Champions League semi-final. 2 of them, in fact, and scored 2 assists, a double brace. Man looked like Roberto Carlos balling out there. So, Gerard Martin, yeah, he does deserve an honorable mention. You know what? I think I sort of do understand. He's not the best defender. He needs to improve. At the start of the year, he was very weak. He didn't understand the system from Flick at all. The offside trap, he did very, very bad. There are some games where he was always the last man caught the striker onside, the forward of the opposition onside. and that almost always resulted in goals for Barcelona. And for that reason, I think that that's maybe an area where Barcelona need to improve, and that's going to be a video that I'm going to be making soon. But yeah, I think that he does deserve an honorable mention because what he has been able to do yet, and what he has been able to do so far, he does deserve that. Another player in that instance is Eric Garcia. I actually wanted to put Eric Garcia higher up. I might move Eric Garcia higher up depending on the list as we go. But Eric Garcia, for me, he's been good because at the start of the year when we had those injuries to De Jong, to Bernal, to Gavi that was injured, Eric Garcia was pretty much the player for us. Pretty much he was the main CDM to play with Pedri whenever he needed rest or something. And he came it up even with clutch goals. You see the one in the semifinal for the Champions League. I know we didn't win it, but still a clutch moment, a clutch goal. Headers, I remember against El Debido, I think it was. He's been very good from right back, even so where I don't think even that we might need a right back to bring somebody in because he's been playing so good in replacement of Jules Koundé. So that's good for Eric Garcia. He's been look really, really proficient in that position of the field. So I'm really happy with that. I would say that Eric Garcia, even in the comeback against Benfica, he scored a goal, remember? So Eric Garcia might be a player that I put even higher up a little bit more. But let's just wait and see how this list goes. Frankie de Jong, I don't know where to put him. I don't know where to put him in 10 on honorable mention just yet. I do not know. I'm going to put him in 10. I think he's been superb. Like the second part of the season from Frankie de Jong has been tremendous. Ever he came from the injury, like 5 games into it, he started playing and balling out. And that's the Frankie de Jong we paid for. That's the Frankie de Jong that cost 86 million euros from Ajax. That's the one that really took Modric for a ride. That's the one. That's the one that I was watching. That's the one that I want to see. And Flick has gotten the best out of Frankie de Jong. So I don't know really. I'm going to put him in 10 at the moment right there. Let's start working with these players because I do not really know what to do with this. Ferran is one where I definitely know he's in 6 to 10. I don't know. I don't think he's top 5. But, I mean, he scored how many goals? 19 goals, I think he scored this year. Can somebody correct me in the comments down below? He had assists as well. Tremendous from Ferran Torres. Can somebody find if he's the Spanish goal scorer? Like, if there's a Spanish player with more goals this year? That would be an interesting stat to find out. Lewandowski, I think because of the sheer amount of goals, Lewandowski has to be top 5. I think that's a key. I think that's a given. Lewandowski has to be top 5. Lewandowski. I mean, he lost the Pichichi to Mbappe. I mean, Mbappe, even in this last game, Real Madrid against, I don't know who Real Madrid played today. The day I'm recording this, Real Madrid played and Mbappe scored 2 goals. It's Modric's departure game and Ancelotti's too. And he scored 2 goals Mbappe. So he took the Pichichi from Lewandowski in the last 2 games. That's unfortunate for the Polish striker, but Lewandowski still, like, he scored tremendous goals. He was key. I do always gonna remember that game against Atletico Madrid. I think it was I don't know if it was in La Liga or in the Copa del Rey. I get them mixed up. But that ball from Íñigo Martínez just to Lewandowski that he puts it down and scores. Sometimes football is simpler than it looks. It's route 1 football. Just pass it to the striker and let him score. And Lewandowski still has that in his locker. He might not be the best player in the team as someday we were expecting him to be, because when you sign somebody like Lewandowski and the history that kind of follows him, you expect him to be the best player. And just for that, I think the expectation with him may be a bit too high because now that he's 36, going to be entering 37, I don't know, but still he's been a prolific striker. So top 5, I think he goes. And talking about that, I do not know what to do with this rest of players because we got Chesney, Koundé, Íñigo Martínez, Pau Cubarsí, and Alejandro Valde. We need to rank the top 10 in order. So I'm between... This is what I have for you guys. I'm between Íñigo Martínez, Pau Cubarsí, and Alejandro Valde for the top 5. I think Alejandro Valde basically earns his shout because of how good he was, this year. How good he was this year, how he played out, how he played so good, and more importantly, how he was missed in the last stages of the season. I think the drop from him to Gerard Martin is massive, and that really lets you sink in everything about how good this guy can be. So I think that is his argument for top 5. If I want to now argue for Cubarsí, I think he's been our most consistent center back. Maybe he's the one that's played the most minutes, and I think he's the one who's played the most minutes, and he's looked very good, and he's been one of the key areas for the offside trap. But with that being said, I was trying to make the argument as I went with Cubarsí, but everything points to Íñigo Martínez. I think everything points to Íñigo Martínez being top 5, because Íñigo Martínez has just been the guy who does the offside trap the best. He's been the guy who, whenever he's not in the team, we look fragile. He's been the guy to put tremendous balls like the one I just said to Lewandowski. He's been the guy who's always fighting and getting to the head of the referee. He's always getting to the head of the other players. His passion. And yeah, I think it's simple. I think Íñigo Martínez goes top 5. I think that makes sense. I'm starting to look at this and it looks better. I'm happy with the top 5 now. The order, we'll work it now. But let's work with the rest. So 6, 10, Ferran Torres and Frenkie de Jong. So Koundé go here. Koundé has to go there. He played almost every minute. I think Alejandro Valde. The question is now, guys, for the top 10. The question is, let me count. Sorry, because I got this. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, one more here, and then another honorable mention needs to go between these two. So it's between Chesney and Pau Cubarsí because of who makes the top 10, in my opinion. It's between, or I could drop Frenkie maybe. Let's do this. So Frenkie drop here. It's between these 3. As from these 3, 2 of them has to go in the top 10. That's my debate. We got Chesney, we got Cubarsí, we got Frenkie. Cubarsí. The question is for me, let's do Chesney first. If Iñaki Peña played this year, the entirety of the season, could we have gone all the way like we did? Like, could we be La Liga champions? Could we be Copa del Rey champions? And could we be Supercopa champions and be in the semifinals of the Champions League if Iñaki Peña played, or Ter Stegen? If Chesney wasn't there, I think the answer, you're going to kill me, but I think the answer maybe yes. That's the thing. I think it maybe yes. I think that even though Chesney was superb in some games, we will never know how they did, how Iñaki Peña or Ter Stegen would have done. And I think that, unfortunately, brings the argument down for Chesney. So I would put him there in honorable mention because of that reason, because we will never know. Cubarsí, he's been an indisputable starter, and the same with Frenkie de Jong. So I think that is the top 10. I think that is the top 10. So far, honorable mentions, we got Chesney, Eric Garcia, Gerard Martin, Dani Olmo, Fermín, Iñaki Peña, and Marc Casado. From 6 to 10, we got Ferran Torres, Koundé, Valde, Cubarsí, and Frenkie. And in the top 5, we got Pedri, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and Íñigo Martínez. So let's work the 6 to 10. Let's work 6 to 10. So I think Frenkie at 10. I don't know why I want to say Cubarsí less, but I think that's fair. I think people are going to kill me if I do this. I think if people are going to kill me if I do this, but I sort of do think it's like that. I sort of do think is Cubarsí last, and then Frenkie here. I do think it's that. I think Valde honestly is more important than Koundé. I think Ferran Torres is behind Balde. I think Balde has been so important. I think Jules Koundé is more important than Ferran. I think between Ferran and Frankie, there's a huge gap. I think there's a massive gap. You know, there's a tremendous gap between Frankie and Ferran. Between, you know, the last two. Between Kouarsi, Frankie, and Ferran, Koundé, Balde, I think there's a massive gap. I think that's how I would go. And now let's work the top 5. The top 5, baby! The top 5. We got Rafinha, Lamine, Pedri, Lewandowski, and Íñigo Martínez. I know for a fact that Lewandowski is top 5. Like, he's in the 5. For me, it's like that. I think Lewandowski is 5th. I think Íñigo Martínez is 4th. I think that's very clear. I think 5th and 4th are very clear. I don't know why I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous. But let's work the rest. Let's work the rest. We have Lamine, Rafinha, and Pedri. So Lamine has been so good this year. I mean, could we really have... I think I'm going to do the same argument with Chesney. I'm going to say, if we could have done this season without them. So, could we have done this season without Lamine Yamal? The answer is no. I don't think we would have gotten as far, but I think we might have gotten somewhere. I don't think we would have gotten as far, but I think we might have gotten somewhere. I think we might have lost maybe the Copa del Rey against Atletico Madrid. I think we might have lost some points in La Liga. I think it would have been tighter. Maybe still running down. Maybe we wouldn't be La Liga champions at the moment of recording. Recording this is the 24th of May. I think we certainly would have lost against Inter in humiliating fashion. That's good arguments. I think that's good arguments because Lamine Yamal has won you basically 2 trophies and has pulled you all the way to the Champions League. So that's crucial. So Rafinha, let's do that same with Rafinha now. Would we have gotten this far without Rafinha? Let's say we take out Rafinha of this team. Could we have? I mean, he scored the goals against Benfica, the comeback against Bayern, in the Supercopa against Real Madrid, in the Clásico as well. For me, the thing about Rafinha is that I think he's a very effective player. Such an effective player. The stats don't really back him up to be a tremendous year for Rafinha. It really backed him up to be a tremendous year. Ballon d'Or winner could be, who knows. But could we have done this year without him? I think that the numbers that Rafinha has put out is something that we are going to take for granted, when in reality, this is such a surprise and it's such a godsend that we need to really respect that. So it's difficult. Pedri, there are some games where we didn't have Pedri that, my goodness, we would be without this team. Like, this team wouldn't even click. Oh my God, it's so hard. I think it's clear that between number 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5, there's a massive gap. Like I said, there's a massive gap there. It kills me because I want Rafinha to be good, and whatnot. But I think Rafinha is third. I think Rafinha is third because his numbers are incredible. I think they're really, really good. But he's the one to finish the chance. It's like, what's the best way that I can describe this? I don't know how to describe this. It's like, it's Rafinha gives you diamonds, but you need to get there. You need to get to the diamond. And Pedri and Lamine Yamal, they're the pickaxe. They are the pickaxe. They are the ones who are gonna mine and who are gonna get you the diamonds. and Rafinha gets the diamonds, you know? So that's the best way I can say it. I think that analogy sort of works, maybe. So that's me. Rafinha, bags of credentials. He's been incredible this year, but I'm going to leave him there. Next up, Lamine Yamal and Pedri. Although I think Lamine Yamal is Lamine Yamal better than Pedri? Is Lamine Yamal better than Pedri, guys? That's a debate. Is Lamine Yamal better than Pedri? I do not know, bro. I do not know. He's the best player in the world. But Pedri is so... But you know what? Sometimes you don't have the best player in the world, even you need someone more important. And I think Pedri, like I said, is the pickaxe. I think even for Lamine Yamal, Pedri is the pickaxe. Pedri is the pickaxe. With that analogy, I think Pedri is number one. With that analogy, I think Pedri is number one. I think that makes a lot of sense. So my top 10 is as follows, guys, because this video is getting very, very long. Number 10, Cubarsí. Number 9, Frank de Jong. Number 8, Ferran Torres. Number 7, Jules Koundé. Number 6, Alejandro Balde. Number 5, Robert Lewandowski. Number 4, Íñigo Martínez. Íñigo Martínez is there. Rafinha at number 3. Such a surprise, Rafinha number 3, dude. Lamine Yamal, number 2. And Pedri. Number 1. So with that being said, guys, that's going to be this video for today. I hopefully you have enjoyed it. I'm going to do another video very similar. We're going to be talking about transfer targets. So hopefully that is something that you enjoy as well. So yeah, if you want more content just like this one, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao.